Today I fucked up by not locking my dogs out of the room during sex. So this just happened last night. I should start by saying I have two wonderful, loving big dogs, a GSD and a lab mix. Usually when my fiancé and I start getting ready to rock and roll, we lock them out of the bedroom to avoid any distractions. Last night, however, he woke me up around 1 AM to have a little midnight fun. He must have been having a good dream. I was about it. We started in, and let the good times roll. It was all going per usual. He was done. I was making my steady climb up the hill to heaven. My eyes were closed and I was not being very quiet. Right as I was about to start my journey back down to earth, I feel a long wet tongue on my face. Open my eyes, my GSD is standing in my face looking worried and trying to kiss me. Let me tell you, there is no quicker turn off and end to a climax than getting kissed in the mouth by your slobbery dog. I pushed my dog away and my fiancé just burst into tears from laughing so hard. Too long didn't read, we started having sex in the middle of the night, forgot about the dogs. My GSD snuck up and mouth kissed me at my climax and ruined my night. Edit, I can't believe the most popular Reddit post I will ever have is about this. Thank you strangers for silver and platinum. Also thank you to everyone who shares these experiences, and so sorry to those who have gotten tongues to the butt. You win. Edit 2, GSD, German Shepherd Dog. For those of you angry about this, thank you for commenting and bringing my karma up even higher. Also for those of you confused about the whole process, just because my fiancé was finished doesn't mean he didn't help a girl out. I lock my dog out for the same reason. Otherwise she thinks I'm in trouble and starts barking at us. My dog starts barking whenever my girlfriend kisses me, but he just started doing it. Never gave a shit in the past, so I'd where it came from. Edit, we're both girls, so if one of us is pregnant, there's a bigger issue at hand here. Our cats will jump on us during it. One time, as I was finishing, one of those rare moments where my wife and I time it perfectly, a cat embeds her claws into my back. I didn't finish. She did. I almost killed a cat. That's not how the cat tells this story. I got a cold wet nose in my butt crack, mid-thrust, once. After my GF calmed down from laughing so hard at my stiffened body reaction, horrified look and scared yelp, she said her first thought was that I must have had the most surprising orgasm ever. Edit, holy smokes, y'all. Glad to know my intimate doggo violation brought so much joy and cringe. And that silver and gold is appreciated too? Many years ago, the wife and I were getting romantic when our golden retriever Einstein walked up, rested his chin on the edge of the bed and let out an extremely loud belch. I can only assume this was an editorial comment on my technique. Needless to say, the laughter broke the mood, and dogs were ever after barred from the friendly confines of the bedroom during sexy times. I can't lock my wife's dog, that thing ain't mine, out of our room because he'll scream and bark, but when he's in the room, he just stares and looks depressed. It's pretty much a lose/lose situation for freaky time. It's been 10 years, dog, get over it. Today I fucked up by nearly twisting my dick off with a Fleshlight duct taped to an industrial fan. Alright, so this was a few weeks ago. I was going to post about it then, but decided to see how things healed since I knew there would probably be questions. This is long, but there was a lot to it, sorry. This began as many other bad ideas do. I had smoked some herb and was horny. My roommate was out of town for the day and I had the place to myself. Figured I would take advantage of the rare opportunity and try to enjoy something more than just a speed fap. I pulled out the Fleshlight that I rarely use and started to get to work. I was at my computer but could not really get into it. Trying to operate the mouse and the Fleshlight while lubed up was too cumbersome and it just felt like jacking off with more steps involved, the main reason I don't really use it. I pulled up some porn on my phone and tried to find a way to stuff the Fleshlight between my mattress, and then in a shoe for a hands-free experience, but still was having trouble, so gave up. Leaning over the bed, my box fan was blowing on my bare ass, so I went over to shut it off, and that's when I got the idea. I took the front grill off and duct taped the back of the Fleshlight to the center of the fan. Overwhelmed with anticipation of my new discovery, I lubed up my boner, inserted it and turned on the fan. It felt extremely good but was not quite working, the fan was too weak and the friction was slowing it down nearly to a stop. I knew I was onto something and needed a bigger fan. Being walking distance from a Walmart, I headed over. They had a couple to choose from. I almost went with the biggest $140 drum fan since bigger seemed better. Really glad I didn't, but instead opted for the $60 industrial floor fan that seemed like it would be more than good enough for the job at hand. I also happened to pick up one of those stupid hands-free phone supports that go around your neck so I could have the ultimate experience. At this point I couldn't wait and basically power walked home with this giant box. I opened it up, took off the front grille and rigged it up the same way. Phone around my neck, looking like an idiot, I lubed up and inserted my dong. What came next was pure heaven. This was legit one of the best things I have ever felt. The Fleshlight was slightly off center so it almost made it vibrate while spinning. The vibration mixed with the spinning, the knobs in the Fleshlight and manual thrusting in and out was insane. I tried the second speed but that was too much to handle. Just as I was really getting into it, my phone began to ring. My sister was calling, which she doesn't normally do unless it's important. I stopped the fan while still inserted and talked with her on the phone for around 5 minutes. After we finished the call I turned my video and then the fan back on. This was my big mistake. At this point my meat was nearly flaccid but still stretched out a bit in the Fleshlight. In order to secure it to the fan, the bottom of the Fleshlight had to be completely tightened. The bottom usually has a release valve so you can control how much suction there is on the inside. Completely tightened is maximum suction. Before I could even comprehend what was happening I felt some tightening and then a searing pain in my penis. My brain took me a second to process before I pulled my dick out and I literally saw it unwind in front of me. I'm uncertain how many times, was at least a couple, and the sight of this along with the pain in my wiener caused me to black out. When I came to I shut off the fan which was still spinning and my schlong was feeling red hot. Panicking I just pranced around the gripping it. Other than being really red and shriveled in, it looked fairly normal, no rips that I could see. Being high and extremely embarrassed I grabbed some frozen vegetables, placed them on my rod and decided to wait it out a bit. The waiting was horrible but couple hours in everything seemed to be getting a bit better until I had 2p which just felt like lava dribbling from my shaft. At this point I was feeling more sober and drove myself to the urgent care where I was seen by a doctor and then directed to a urologist. I came clean since I wanted a proper diagnosis, and you can imagine the reaction. Almost seemed like he was more disappointed in me with every question I answered. I was given a cavernosography where they inject dye into your cock before an x-ray to see if the vessels are damaged, and an MRI. He said that I may suffer some permanent damage from the penile torsion. I was very scared waiting for the results. That is the point I was originally going to write this, but this is the update after 3 weeks. Everything came back good. The inflammation was likely causing the pain inside while urinating. The pain on the outside was from a friction burn. Basically after me dick twisted as much as it could, the Fleshlight was still moving around it for a few rotations and gave me a burn across my whole dick. That has since cleared up and everything is back around 80%. Now that I'm getting boners again, I'm honestly half tempted to try again since it felt so good. Just remember, if you try this, to stay extremely hard and well lubricated the whole time. Too long didn't read, was high and horny, got the idea to duct tape a Fleshlight to an industrial fan. Things went wrong when I turned it on with a flaccid penis. My dick twisted multiple times before I passed out. After seeing a urologist, no permanent damage was incurred besides some inflammation and a friction burn on my entire shaft. Everything is feeling good again, and may give it another go in the future. That end got me, might do it again lol. It will be like, Doc, you must really stop doing weird shit with your dick. Op, no, I don't think I will. Edit, a word. Instructions unclear. Dick stuck in fan. That was a meme, that was supposed to stay a meme. FFS, guys. Damn, you really bought a brand new fan only to jerk off. That's some dedication. For some reason that was my favorite bit. Walking to Walmart took it beyond experimentation and into the realm of calculated self-abuse. I want to say in a non-sexual way how much enjoyment I have been getting imagining a guy with his dick in a fan and talking to his sister with his phone rigged around his neck. Then explaining it to fucking urgent care. That is one hell of an elaborate jacking off adventure. As a woman, I simply cannot imagine, after the original fan wasn't good enough, walking to fucking Walmart, standing in the fan section comparing specs on Fleshlight spinning ability. Then shamelessly running home, without forgetting the hands-free phone contraption for extra pleasure, to duct tape the item of your affection to the blades of the fan. You needed duct tape and a fucking screwdriver to jack off. In all seriousness though, I'm so glad you have no permanent damage. Godspeed on your next adventure. Edit, not a flashlight. And obligatory thanks for gold exclamation. Really is my first though. Enjoying Reddit in its non-ed purity for the first time. And yet operating the mouse and the fleshlight at the same time was too cumbersome. Today I fucked up by drinking peanut butter. Quick statement, this isn't my account, but /the Gem Scout is a close friend of mine, and since I don't use Reddit I figure someone should get the karma, if you guys happen to enjoy my pain. Also, this was about a week ago, not today sadly. So let's preface this. There's an episode of 2.5 Men where Jake melts a jar of peanut butter into liquid, then he offers Charlie some. So I'm at my friend's house, let's call the friend Mason, and we're watching reruns of the show. We see that fateful scene and Mason thinks it'd be a good idea to dare me to drink peanut butter. 2 things before we proceed. 1. Our dares are intense, but we never refuse them. 2. While it's apparently weird, I despise peanut butter, not that I'm allergic or anything, but I really hate the stuff. Knowing that refusing the dare is not an option, or else I'm going to get pranked no end over it, I decide we should just get it over with now. So my friend hands me the tallest coffee mug he owns and says get to scooping while he laughs in my face. Once he's made me fill the cup with peanut butter, he puts it in the microwave for like 30 seconds and then motions for me to get the cup before it hardens. Here's where my fuck up begins. I drink coffee often, so I'm not very careful about it being hot, and assume it's much cooler than my typical coffee as I heat that up for about 2 minutes or more before I drink it. 1 minute is nothing to me, and seeing as I'm not trying to taste this disgusting flavor of nutty origin, I try to slam it down as fast as possible. Actually the biggest mistake of my life, as not only does peanut butter heat up much faster than a typical liquid, it's very thick and insanely sticky. It was like Satan came in my mouth, but it was stuck there and I couldn't get it out. My friend is still laughing his ass off and I'm screaming in at the top of my lungs as it goes further into my throat and I begin choking on the molten shit liquid itself. At this level I'm thinking I'm choking on lava and I really hope I don't die because of the one time I eat peanut butter. In my suffering I finally stammer out, "Take me to the ER," and his face immediately changed. I go for the milk we have in the fridge so I can walk out the door, but lucky me, we have not one drop of milk, nor any other liquid other than fucking A1 sauce, so I grab the sprayer in the kitchen sink and start blasting it in my mouth so as to mitigate the damage, but I can already tell that I've got some pretty severe burns. Flash forward to the hospital, and thanks to my idiocy I have second-degree burns all over my mouth and throat, and after almost a week, I'm still in constant pain. I can't taste anything except pain. I have burns on and around my tongue, my gums, the roof of my mouth, my throat, and can barely sleep due to the intensity of the pain. FML, and fuck peanut butter. Never drink it, or you'll end up like me. Too long didn't read, got dared to drink melted peanut butter. Slammed it down to avoid taste. Hot peanut butter is basically napalm and hot PB plus mouth equals second-degree burns. Jesus Christ. Basically salt water and a fuck ton of ibuprofen. I was told to avoid ice at all costs because it can stick to the burn and rip skin. Obviously I'm not touching ice because fuck that. Edit, am now alternating Tylenol and ibuprofen thanks to you guys suggesting I don't murder my kidneys. Folks, I have second degree on my hand right now. I can't imagine what it's like in your mouth, made me cringe. I burnt my tongue on my coffee this morning. I can't imagine that shit time x50 all down my throat. Get better soon, Ops friend. Next time stick a finger in it first. This is also a good life pro tip for sex, swimming, and owning a horse. Instructions unclear, got kicked by the horse. Real talk, you're lucky you didn't drink something cold to follow, as you could have sloughed off the inner layer of your mucous membranes, similar to how you can boil a tomato and run it under cold water to shock the skin off. I've watched people rush to get extreme burns under cold water, oil/grease and sugar, only to watch their skin essentially deglove the epidermis, and worse. Lol shit, what's the best response in that situation then? Run it under room temperature water. That sounds like pretty nutty thing to do. Please don't hurt me. That was not funny.